Hi, Liz.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you. So I was able to watch the movie, Between Borders.
Really?
Yes, I've seen it and it was incredible. I loved it. You did an
Oh,
amazing
thank
job.
you.
Just wanted to start with that.
Oh, that makes me so happy. Thank you.
Oh yeah, my husband and I watched it and we were like in tears by the end, and it just like brought, it made you really think about our lives and how like fortunate we are and how we can't even, most of us, thank God, we can't even imagine what it must be like to be in that situation. And I spoke with Violetta and Olga last week, and they
Yeah,
were like the most lovely people ever. So yeah, it's a great movie.
they're a special family. They really, really are. And the director and the producers and everyone that was involved, it was the most wonderful experience. They're all really sweet people.
Yeah, so what drew you to the role?
Yeah, well, I met Isaac Norris at a screening of The Shift last year, and he approached me. He told me he had this script about this Armenian family, based on a true story. And I'm part Armenian, so I was like really eager just to. I was excited. I haven't seen that many stories about Armenian families or people. It's just kind of not a common occurrence.
Yeah.
And so I was really excited to read the script, really hoping that it was going to be something that I connected to. And they sent the script over, and I just loved it so much. It was really moving. It was, because it's based on a true story, it was very realistic. And I just like kind of fell in love with these characters and their hearts, and I was just very eager to get to be a part of it.
Yeah. Um, what was it like taking part in a story that is a true story? Have you done any other like work in like true stories? Because I feel like it must add on like kind of maybe a weight as like an actress to know that like, oh, I've got the real family here. And I don't know, what is that like taking part in a true story?
I mean, Mary Magdalene.
I guess that's true. I guess
But
that's
we don't
true.
have a lot of details. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so I have, struggled a little bit with like wanting to honor Mary Magdalene for the longest time. Like, I really want to do this right. But there's really no direct personal feedback from that experience. But with this, it was really I got to meet all of them while we were filming, um and hear, see videos of these home videos while they were in Volgograd, um and just sort of, when I met Violetta, she's just all love. She's so much love, and she's so strong. And so I think just trying to like match the essence of that. I wasn't trying to like, you know, play her specifically, like in terms of I don't know, I've tried my best with the dialect and everything, but I wanted to capture her essence with her priorities are all for her family. And we just see this transformation throughout the story of her going from someone who's relatively secure, and she and her husband are have these fantastic jobs in Azerbaijan, and their families are there, and it's just, they're in a really seemingly secure state. And we see them lose everything. And um, in that midst of loss, we see her find faith and start learning about Jesus, and how that can transform everything. And so we see a really beautiful internal shift in her, where she's not as concerned about good jobs and everything, and comfort. It was just more about making sure that her family's safe, and really sticking and clinging to her faith. And so when I finally got to meet her and get to know her, it's so clear, and it like that is so much part of her. And yeah, I feel like it was not easy. I don't want to say it was easy, because acting is never easy, but it was a gift to get to meet her and to let that influence the performance.
Yeah, absolutely. You touched on faith, and that is definitely a major theme in the movie. That's really where the Petrosyans find their home and their community. Can you tell me a little bit more about the role of faith in the movie and maybe how your own faith was impacted in any way by this story?
Yeah, I mean, we see Violetta go from, their entire lives they've been communists, and part of that is not being religious, um, and that sense of security from their jobs and from uh, growing up in a certain place, all of that can kind of get taken away very quickly. And so, you know, as she's as she's in that low spot and kind of left with nothing that they're familiar with, her mother introduces her to this Christian church, these missionaries that have set up a church in Volgograd, and they're from America, um, and you just see this community forming for her, and lessons from Christ's teachings that really change the way she interacts with the world, and gives her a deeper and more real stability. Even, this entire story is framed in their plea for uh, citizenship in America. So it's, there's these court proceedings that we flash back and forward from and to, and even to the point where it's sort of up in the air. They might not get citizenship, and while her husband is just like desperate to stay for the sake of their girls, she does get to this point where, like, whatever is meant to be will be, and we have God and we have our faith and we have our belief, and like that, at that point I think it's enough. And so there's like a faith that whatever God has planned for us is the right way, and to trust in that. And so I love that shift in her of what home really means. Getting to stay in America is such a gift for them. They finally get to feel safe. But I do see this change in her before that. Oh, I just gave things away. But we do get to see that confidence in her before before it's chosen for them by the judge.
Mhm.
Um, and I love that so much. I love the idea of um, you know, having a deeper sense of home in this world.
Yeah, absolutely. Another major part that the story focuses on is a lot, it's still happening today with all the wars in different parts of the country and people facing discrimination in the face of war and conflict. Can you talk to me a little bit more about that and maybe how you hope this movie could shed light on this topic?
Yeah, I mean, um, America is has always been that for so many people. It's been a place of refuge. So many of us come from immigrant parents or grandparents or great grandparents. Well, most of us are immigrants here in some capacity, and the the film really highlights in this beautiful moment, the poem at the base of the Statue of Liberty, that America is supposed to be a refuge for people, and um, and it is one of the most, I think, Christian elements of America. I know there's a separation of church and state, but in terms of philosophy and in terms of concept, taking care of people who have to flee their homes because of racism, because of threats, because of danger, is one of the most Christian things we can do as a country. And so it's one of those elements that I'm so proud of America for, is opening its arms to those who have nowhere else to go. And this film really highlights that, of what that can do for people who have nowhere else to go. Um, and we can see their lives unfold just by knowing the Petrosyans, of what America has done for them, and also what they've done for America now, and their communities and their church communities and the work that they do at their school, and they've given back so much of their hearts and love, and it's just a really beautiful, uh, I believe, success story of this second chance that they get through Jesus and also through America.
Yeah. No, I couldn't agree with you more. Is there a part of the movie, like a scene, a line, a quote, anything that really stood out to you and impacted you?
Oh, so much. There is I don't want to give anything away. There is a monologue at the very end of the film that I cannot watch without breaking down into tears. And every time I've watched it with other people, with family and friends, like it just kind of gets to all of us. And yeah, I don't want to give it away, but it's really beautiful, and it makes you really proud to be an American.
I think I know which one you're talking about from
Yeah.
watching.
Yeah.
What do you hope people will take away from this movie?
I hope that there can be some sort of synthesis, sorry, some sort of synthesis between being from other countries and being American. Um, this is a melting pot. This country is about lots of different cultures coming together and making something beautiful from those differences. And I hope that it inspires some pride in what America has been for so many. Um, and also, I think anyone that's watching it, I hope they uh, either, cling to their families and really appreciate their families, and really appreciate their ancestors and those who came before them that have done really difficult things and challenging things to give us new generations better lives. And it's something to be celebrated.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And my last question, which you kind of already touched here and there, but like I kind of mentioned, the movie left me feeling incredibly grateful for, the lives that, like you say, that we get to live here in America. And I just couldn't imagine going through something like the Petrosyans did. So it really left an impact on me. How did this story impact you personally in any way?
Um, it made me really proud to be Armenian and American. It made me really think about, whew, sorry, my grandparents, my great grandparents, and great great, and the struggles that they've all gone through in their own ways, different cultures, but in their own ways. And um, it makes you appreciate family, and it makes you really appreciate what they've done for us for generations following. And it also really it inspires this sense of um, faith that we have a home in God. We have a home in the Father in a way that um, this life can shift so dramatically and change so quickly. And politics and wars and like things can happen so quickly. And that to have your safety and your peace and your home in God, that can't be taken away.
Yeah. Oh, geez. You got me too. On which side are you Armenian? Or
My mother's side, a mix of Armenian and Italian. And yeah, the growing up, I would hear my grandmother and great grandmother speak Armenian to each other, and I really wish I learned, but I didn't. But yeah, we would have all of the wonderful food, and when I first read the script too, and the character of Violetta, I really it felt so familiar. It reminded me of my grandmother, and there's a personality there that is it's so uh, strong and feisty, and it's this sort of like tough love that I really admire, and it was very fun to get to play.
yeah, I grew up, my best friend growing up was Armenian. So I remember some of the food actually, but I'm
Yeah,
Italian, so I've got that
oh
side.
yeah, I love it.
Well, thank you so much, Liz, for chatting with me. It's always a pleasure seeing you.
You too. I love chatting with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Talk to you soon.
Have a good one.